And good morning, Risk Raider fans, Red Raider fans, and any other fans, especially of this show, because we love doing this show. I don't know what we would do if we didn't have Friday mornings. We didn't get up and do this show.
We're going to do a show, just in case, ladies and gentlemen, we do talk about insurance or anything of substantive matter, which I guarantee you actually today is a really good show for you. You're really going to enjoy this, especially since it's graduation season. Brent's going to take us through some cool stuff. But listen, if we get into the insurance, we get into all that stuff, you remember that this is just going to be fun wisdom that we're going to pass on to you. If we talk about insurance, legal stuff, accounting stuff, you don't need to listen to that from us, get some ideas, but then go talk to your licensed professional to get their advice about your situation. We're not giving you that advice. We're just giving you the tips and the tricks and the way to be
2,000
successful.
foot view.
There we go. I'm just going to leave it at that.
That's the ultimate disclaimer.
Let's get into it. All right, Brent came up with the topic. I think it's great. I've got a senior in high school, but we're not just talking about high school. We're talking, what are you going to do, graduation? We're going to go into graduation?
I think the theme today is pre-graduation risk management.
Oh.
Like whether you're, and this is really more, I think, for the college graduate, but the high school graduate do some of these things too, because that person starting a new life as well, going off to college is clearly a new start, especially if you go away to school. Now, if you go to school and live at home, you're not getting that kind of complete restart that you get when, like, crazy kids like me that went to Lubbock from Houston and you're 500 miles away from home. That's a fresh start, whether you like it or not. You're in a new place. I didn't decide to go until my buddy, whose parents are from Plainview, we were sitting on the back of a pickup and in the stop and go parking lot, and he goes, "Where are you going to go?" And I was like, I don't know. I don't really want to go somewhere close. All these people we know that go somewhere close, they come home every weekend. They're sitting here in the parking lot with us at Stop and Go. I said, I'm going to go away to school. He goes, this is the magic words. He goes, why don't you go to Tech with me? I'd been there one time when I was very young, so I knew kind of where the Panhandle was, but I had clearly not been there and had no idea what I was getting myself into. For me, obviously, it was perfect. I mean, it couldn't be better. Getting away from home, starting a new life. And that's sort of what we're talking about today is when you graduate, you're starting a new life. You know, whether you graduate from high school and you're going off to college, it's your chance to kind of get a fresh start. So like if your name has been Scooter, you can go by your real name. A new life, either as a college graduate or a high school graduate, you're going to go out there. And I would say these things I'm fixing to talk about are more for the college graduate. But if you're fixing to graduate from college and you're going to go out and hopefully look for a job and get that job and be on your own, which is the ideal scenario, you need to think about a few things to I'm going to call this a cleanup. So let's go back and take a look at our social media. And I know some of this stuff's permanent, can't get rid of it, but let's go take those pictures of you standing on the bar or dancing on the top of the roof of a car. And let's get those cleaned up off of your Facebook page and all your other social, because let me just tell you, your employer, they're going to look at it.
Yeah,
and
even
it'd be best if those things weren't there.
I'm going to tell you, we're going to look at it. We joke around on this show a lot, but I'm going to tell you, you come and apply at our company or whatever, I'm going to try to find a way not to hire you. That's the way your employer looks.
Yeah,
you're looking for a reason not to hire you. Yeah, they want to see the good stuff, but you're trying to see if there's some reason not to hire you.
Well, you're trying to
Don't give them the
insight into this person's real personality. What are they like? I mean, you want to know that they're fun to hang around with and pleasant to be around, but you don't want some crazy person who's hiding it well. And once you hire them, the crazy comes back out. You don't want that. I would also say, I will add that if you've gotten into trouble during school and maybe gotten a PI or some other misdemeanor arrest, right? Let's get that cleaned up. It's possible sometimes to go back and get those things expunged. Now's the time.
Okay, so let's just say it to the people who are in high school who are going into college.
Be careful.
You're going to have to be very careful because everybody thinks you're going to go in there, and we're honest on risk graders. Hey, you can do a lot of drinking. You might get mixed up on some things. I'm just telling you, that's the mentality some people have, the party mentality. I know it's there. I don't care what college you go to. It's there. It's available. It's there. It can ruin your life. I'm just going to tell you.
You can make a permanent mistake.
You can make a permanent mistake that gives an employer a reason not to hire you. And I'm not telling you not to have a good time. I'm not your daddy. I'm not any of those things. I'm telling you from a business standpoint, from a risk management standpoint, from a personal standpoint, the decisions you make while you're in college are going to follow you. And you cannot, try to get it expunged. But let me ask you, can you really get anything expunged? The internet, everywhere, there's a piece somewhere. And employers...
It's cached.
That's right. And bigger employers, large employers, even now as smaller employers have access to AI technology, which dives deeper, goes further. And I'm telling you, if you can prevent getting those records done first, that's the best risk management. But then, Brent, you're right. You screw up, you make a mistake, you will.
Let's get it cleaned up.
Get it cleaned up.
Go find yourself a lawyer, a good one that's trustworthy and that really specializes in this kind of thing, and say, look, man, I need to get I've got this misdemeanor arrest that I got when I was in college. I got a public intoxication. Because frankly, a lot of times at colleges when like they bust or police come to a fraternity party, they give everyone a PI. Well, it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal because here's what happens. When you go to apply for a job and you're interviewing and you're down to the final 5 candidates, that's when they're going to run the background check on everyone, right? And if there's 5 of you and you're all about the same, you've got a misdemeanor arrest, guess what? You're kicked. You're not even going to get the fine. You're done. So let's get that cleaned up because a lot of times you can. We can go back to the court and say, hey, I'm just saying, try to get that cleaned up if you can. And I would add, run the background check yourself. Make sure there's not something there you don't know about or you forgot, or find out what's in your record so that when you go to apply for a job and you say, I've never been arrested or I don't have this, you don't want your employer they won't even tell you. Because if they find something on there that you didn't put on your application, you're gone.
No, and let me tell you something. It's not that the employer or any employer is so goody-goody or they don't like people have a good time. Most employers who have 15 or more employees, which is most people out there, they fall under the EEOC guidelines. And let me tell you, folks, they can't hire you knowing that you might have a drinking problem, you might have a speeding problem, you might have all those problems, because if you come to work for them and they hire you anyway, and then you end up having a problem on the job, that's called liability for the employer.
Right.
They may think it's funny. They may think the stories are great. They may say, personally, I don't care that I get it, college, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to the company says, we can't have you because if it happens again on our watch, we're toast. So it's not higher than almighty thinking. It's rules and regulations that they're faced with. And you're giving them a reason to say, I can't hire you. And that's crazy.
And you're asking, like, even in a smaller company too, like they may interview you and go, oh, we love this guy or this lady.
Sure.
We love this woman. She's perfect for the job. But when they find out you've got an arrest record of some kind, even if it's minor, then you're asking someone to take a chance on you. Right. Somebody in the company is going to have to say, you know what? I think it's okay. We should go ahead and hire this person. But what that person's doing and what you're asking them to do is to take a chance with their career. Because if they say, hey, yeah, I think we should hire Jenny or we should hire Jim, even though he has an arrest record, if it goes wrong, they're gone.
Yeah, they're gone. And it's just, and look, and plus
people aren't going to do that anymore.
There's
Jobs
certain businesses
too hard to get and keep.
There's people like us in our industry, in the insurance industry, where you have to have licensing to do a lot of things. There's a lot of industries like that. In the financial, about the licensing and the medical. You don't know necessarily what you're going to want to do all the time. You may end up, your first job is kind of your test job, but you go like, oh, I found out about risk management, for instance, or I found out about insurance, or I found out about a legal job. And then all of a sudden you found out I need to have a state license. And then you run, oh, well, I've just screwed myself out of being able to do that. And
I can't do it.
And that's sad because you should have opportunities and not limitations. So I think this is really good advice you're giving.
Well, and that's the advice back to the high school graduate. When you go to college, be careful. I mean, have fun. But like I always used to say, and I still say this, know when it's time to leave. Like if you're at an event or a party or something in college and things are getting out of hand, pick up your phone and pull up your little Lyft or Uber account and GTFO. Go home.
That almost sounds like a something that should be on TV, because I'm telling you, knowing when to leave, I've never really heard that. And I think that
it's an
if you
art
don't
form.
hear, that's the name of this show today. It's really for almost anybody, know when to leave and save yourself a whole lot of trouble down the road. It's
don't feel like you got to be embarrassed, right? Oh, I need to say goodbye to everybody. If it's going weird, like you get a weird feeling in your gut, like, man, I don't know, this party's getting out of hand, climb over the back fence and start walking down the street and call an Uber and go home. And if the next day people are coming up to you and going, man, we all got arrested. Where were you? You did it right.
That's right. You don't want to mess around with this stuff. You need to clean up the legal. You got to get on your social media, and I've got to tell you, you've got to cut it out. I understand it's right there, and I know that the younger generations, and you're addicted to it, it's gonna wipe you out.
It's gonna hurt you, and you're not even gonna hurt you. And you're not even gonna know. Like, you're going to go, man, I don't know why I didn't get the call back. I had a great first interview, but I didn't get a call back from that company or the other 50 I applied to. Yeah. Well, guess what? They looked at your social media and they were like, nope.
No, and they can't tell you. They're not going to. They're just going to pass you by. There's rules that they can't tell you this stuff. And this sounds really weird. And, we were lucky when we grew up. We didn't have social media, so you had to dig. You do not have to dig.
No, it's easy.
Here, I've got tools just within my office to where I can pretty much find out anything about you. And you know that. And I can also find out really good things. So you need to be thinking in terms of what's somebody going to look at, how are they going to feel, and how's the law going to support them on making those decisions? Because it's just not good buddy, man. No one can take that.
Right.
It's credible. They can't get insurance if they start hiring people who are crazy and they're doing stupid stuff. And that kills the company. They're not going to do it.
No, not going to do it. And I would add to this stack of things you need to be careful of is keep your credit score good. Pay your bills. When you're off at school and, don't get jammed up with your bills and everybody thinks, oh, my parents are taking care of that. No, they're not. You need to make sure that your bills are paid and that you are not getting dings on your credit, because that's the next thing you're going to have to worry about is when you get out of school, you're going to try to buy a car or a house or even get a job. All these things are credit. Your credit score is part of every financial transaction. I don't care whether you're buying insurance, getting a job, or whatever. That credit score is a factor. And if your credit score is bad, it's going to hurt you. Don't let it be bad. You're young. You don't have any reason for it to be bad. Get it started off with good. Have a 700 credit score or 800. You don't have any reason to have a bad score.
No,
Never.
You don't have to. You're going to get inundated with a bunch of these credit card applications. As soon as you walk onto campus, as soon as you log on, there's going to be all these things you're going to be tempted to be with.
Do
not pay your credit card bills totally off. Every month. No balance, no anything, because you're young and you're coming out and you're establishing. Most of the time when you're in college, you should be thinking of establishing credit. And that is buy things, then pay for it. If you don't pay cash, you put on the credit card, you do not carry a balance. It shows up. And it's the same idea with your driving record. Because what is going on now in the insurance world, whether you're going to have a company vehicle or you could potentially be using your own vehicle driving in a business, the insurance companies are really getting strong on making sure employers are running motor vehicle reports. And so if you pull up and you've got speeding tickets, you have accidents, you have, of course, a DUI, anything like that, you're done. Because that is money, that's coverage, that's the business not even being able to get you on the policy because they can exclude drivers. You don't know that now. Don't create a barrier.
Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl or you can't be covered by your company's policy because they're going to get rid of you. They don't have time for that. And so don't show up with that problem in your pocket. Don't get it to begin with, like Jeff said. But if you do, get it cleaned up. And now's the time, if you're about to graduate from college, run a background check on yourself. Make sure there's not something out there. And if there is, get it fixed. Clean it up.
This is not extremely expensive to do.
No.
And if you have to get an attorney, I promise you it's the best money you will spend. Anything that you pay here will also be a life lesson that you will prevent from later on. But there's ways to do this, folks, to where you can leave college, have absolutely the best career, best lives. And that's what your parents want for you. That's what risk graders wants for you. Everybody wants that. We're not trying to be fuddy-duddies. But
No.
this is real stuff that it's a shame if you go through and you make good grades and you do all those things, but then you go out and you can't get hired.
Because you got bad credit or an arrest record.
That's just bad. And no one wants that.
I like to think of it as when you start college, you're sort of building your own personal brick wall and build it right. You know, have good credit. Don't get arrested. Be smart. Do good. You know, choose your major wisely, something you can get employed in. You know, look around and be smart about what you're doing. If you're at an event, like I said, and it's going badly, go home. Don't be there when it hits the fan. Be gone.
Well, I mean, you're an adult now.
Yeah, you're an adult. You're responsible for the rest of your life. And if you screw up and don't build your brick wall correctly, the rest of your life's going to be hard. But if you graduate from college with a degree and you got good credit and a clean record, man, the whole world's in front of you.
No, and then carry that idea through your first job. We're not stupid enough to think that everybody now goes and gets their first job and stays there the whole time. It continues on, because the more you build, you will find the better career no matter what you go into, whether you change careers or not. You're going to have open doors, open opportunities. You're a hard worker, and then you don't have any of this frivolous stuff done. Your career is unlimited. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to watch people who can really just go, but don't let this thing be an anchor for you.
Right. Don't mess up. But I would also say when you get into your first job, be useful.
Yeah.
Don't wait for them to tell you what to do. You know, try to get out there and figure out what these people are doing and help them do it. Even if it's as simple as putting paper in the copier or hey, I'll go get the lunch. You know, don't be arrogant. I've got a college degree. Who cares? That's meaningless.
Yeah, almost everybody
do something
does.
to be helpful, you know?
Right.
A friend of mine it was a company friend of mine told me a cool story about his kid. His kid went to work right out of college for one of these guys that sells cat diesel products, you know, sells bulldozers and stuff like that.
Sure.
Well, they hired 3 college kids, and I think these were engineering majors. I don't really remember what their major was. But anyway, they hired 3 guys. Well, two of them wouldn't leave the office. Well, they had a repair shop, you know, where clients would bring these things in to work on them. Well, his son was not afraid to go out there and help the mechanics, you know, when he was first getting started. Just kind of like, hey, man, you guys need a hand out here. And he was out there helping them work on them and learning about how these things work and was making himself useful. And these other 2 kids wouldn't come out of the air conditioning to work in the shop. And they were arrogant. They were like, well, that's not what we do. We're engineers. Well, guess who got fired and who kept the job?
Yeah,
you know,
every single time. Every single time. An employer is not looking for just doing the job. They're looking for people who bring those extra values, those extra personality, that extra willingness to work. You know, when you're not going to know this when they're going to try to teach you this, but when you're interviewing for your job, that's what you're looking at posing yourself to be. And then when you get in the job, that's what you do.
Don't stand on the sidelines.
No, follow through and follow through
help
hard.
Them push the rock up the hill. That's what they're doing. Whatever you can do to help, do it.
Oh my God. And I'm going to tell you, it's fun to do that.
It is.
You're going to have a ball if you take your career and you do all the things that we're talking about and you launch it, and then you just go crazy going, I'm going to just learn everything, be everything I can be. You're going to have so much more fun than the person who just goes and sits and waits to be told on everything to do. That's boring. And those are the people who lose their jobs, and those are the people who aren't valuable, but then they're also miserable. So,
they're miserable.
Man, that's fun.
I would say, too, don't say no to anything. Like if they say, hey, we're all going out or we're going to go play golf, go. Yeah, especially if it's people that are above you in the company, go. Yeah. If they're going to play in a scramble, play. Yeah. I don't care if you're any good or not.
No.
Go play.
No, have a good time.
In the activities of the firm and mix it up with these people because that's how you're going to get somewhere. Sitting in your office waiting for somebody to tell you what to do. Jeez.
Maybe I can do that.
Small business, they don't have time for that.
No, so take these things that we talked about today on the show. These are the things that are kind of the things you don't see. Think about them, deal with them, get ready to go. Then congratulations. If you are graduating risk graders, we give you a salute.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. It is a wonderful time of your life. We hope that it is going to be perfect for you. But stay watching, risk graders, because we're going to be doing a lot of things for adults, young adults, people who are getting started, getting all these things. You need to come back and listen to some of our shows, because there's a lot of things you might not know about that we're going to also be sharing with you. So, Brent, I think today was great, and I always learn something.
I do too.
I love that, man. Know when to go.
Know when to go home. I always said it was my personal life skills. I knew when it was time to leave. And
it's true. It sounds funny when you say it, though. It's funny when you say it, but it's so true. And I can honestly tell you, being at some social things with Brent, he does know when to go, because all of a sudden you look around and Brent's gone. There's not an announcement. He just faded.
Irish exit. Boom.
Yeah, you
be
fade.
Gone.
You just
Poof,
all of a sudden,
like Casper.
He's there, and then he's not.
Then he's not. Hey, I want to say something really quick, though, about our show next week. We got my good friend Mike Sloan coming on from Wright Flood. We're going to start our series on flood insurance, which is cool because we're getting into, spring season where we could have heavy rains and flooding and things like that. And so Mike is the chief marketing officer for Wright Flood, and he knows a ton about flood because he's been in flood insurance his whole career. Great guy. We're going to talk about FEMA and how flood insurance works, how the government backs it, and how it's got to be reauthorized. It's a pretty interesting subject, and this guy knows a ton about it, and he's a lot of fun to hang out with. So should be a great show.
I am really excited, and I'm going to tell everybody up here, because we're up here in West Texas. Brent's down there on the coast in the Houston area, Bel Air, and all that good stuff. Listen, up here, we need to know about this as much as anybody. Our floods are going to be a little bit different, but they're just as substantial. They're dangerous, damaging. We need to be aware, because it doesn't take a lot of rain here for it to flood like it does down in Houston. They can hold a lot of water. We can't. And so don't tune out of this series because you think you're in West Texas, Dallas, El Paso, or East Texas. This is for everybody, because trust me, what this guy's going to bring, I'm so excited about this.
Yeah, man, there's no place in the world, and I don't care where you are, you've got to think about flood, because everybody thinks, oh, it doesn't flood here. Guess what? It just hasn't yet.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to talk about too. And we're going to have someone on in a few weeks that I hope I'm trying to line up that's going to talk about that. For instance, when we had our big floods down here, a lot of the flooded areas had never flooded before. And
it's not good.
You can't really say, oh, it never floods here, I don't need flood insurance or whatever. You need to consider the fact that it might just not have yet.
That's
right.
Anyway,
but that's what we got coming up next week, and I'm pretty excited about it. And I guess we're kind of getting down to it, wrap it up for today. It's been a great show. It's a great weekend coming up. Cool front coming through here.
It's going to be
I don't know what else to say.
There.
I'm excited about it. It's going to be fun. Everybody have a great weekend. Jeff, I hope you and your family have a nice weekend. I guess we will see everyone next week. Got to get a quick guns up.
Guns up, everybody. Thanks for subscribing and liking us on LinkedIn and on YouTube. We really appreciate it. Thanks for sharing.
Yep, share it. And we will see everyone next Friday.